Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now. This morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Monday, August 19th, 2024. A lot going on this morning. Full moons.
Right.
What else we got going on out there?
Maybe a slight chance of rainfall. It's about a 10% chance. But that's not till the evening.
So hopefully people haven't put their umbrellas away. We've kind of needed them a little bit.
I actually did put mine away.
You put it away.
Yeah. I got to listen to Bill Grohl, man.
Get it back out, right?
Exactly.
And what else can we expect?
I have to talk about weather, don't I?
You do. It is Monday. I don't know.
I've got Alien on my mind right now, so I've been thinking about that.
We've got a story on that coming up.
Awesome. We'll talk about that in a bit, though. So I'll get to the weather. Away we go here with local conditions right now with patchy to dense fog out there. We're going to see that continue into the 6 o'clock hour and the 7 o'clock hour. Everything starts to move a little bit more to the west. That being said, take a look here. Today we have seasonally cooler temperatures, a little bit down to around 82 degrees expected for our high today. Well, other than that, we'll see some 70s kind of spread around as well. This evening, a 10% chance of showers, like I just mentioned to you. Here's a look at the fog and low cloud activity right now, extending from Ladysmith all the way down to Eau Claire. We're going to get down to 7% or 7 miles visibility here locally, like Viroqua is right now. You have dense fog by Vogue Field, and well, Boscobel's gotten much better. They were in the dense fog earlier this morning, and now they've gotten at least up to 4 miles visibility. Hey, take a look at this though. Fog tracker shows you a lot of this fog is tracking west. We're going the opposite direction away from the Mississippi, and that's going to allow some of that fog here locally to break down. So that means we're going to see a little bit of wind taking us to about 12 miles per hour, possibly up to 14 miles per hour to finish the afternoon. We'll go into the gust tracker just to show you how it all plays out. You can see those winds getting up to at least 13 to 14 miles per hour in some locations. And then, of course, the fog tracker shows you the rainfall on the way real quick. You're going to see it sneaking in, possibly getting into at least the 11 o'clock hour to finish out the day. Back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Art. We'll see you in just a bit. The Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, with the party sensing momentum behind the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz ticket. News 8 Now's Ken Kozarowski reports from the convention floor.
Well, as we await the start of day one of the Democratic National Convention here on the west side of Chicago, we can't help but wonder what a difference a month makes. Just last month, Joe Biden was still running for re-election on the Democratic side, and Donald Trump was leading in polls across key battleground states. Now, Democrats say with the Harris-Walz ticket, they have serious momentum, and they hope to use this convention to broaden those slim leads in key battleground states. For Democratic Party chairman like Wisconsin's Ben Wickler, there's no doubt about it.
Vice President Harris has electrified the Democratic Party.
Wickler says President Biden's selfless decision to put country before himself was a lightning bolt the party needed. County leaders like Deb Dasso in eastern Wisconsin couldn't agree more.
We had an event at our office the night of the debate, and it was really a sad evening. Our office was packed yesterday. You know, they all want the signs, they want to be able to help. I have not seen energy in this county like this.
Dasso works in one of the suburban counties near Milwaukee that have historically won Republicans' elections. She says her county used to be 65-35 red. Now it's basically 50-50, reflecting the state's dead heat between Harris and Donald Trump.
Right now, the Democratic Party is sitting where the voters are, which is to say opposing abortion bans, supporting efforts to crack down on price gouging for groceries and bring costs down on prescription drugs. And it's the reason why at this moment, I think all the political forecasters say that Wisconsin's likely to be very close, but Vice President Harris has the edge.
Part of the edge for Wisconsin voters could be Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a former National Guardsman and public school teacher.
This is someone who really connects with Wisconsinites as well. And then they're running this campaign that is full of joy and positive energy and this laser focus on freedom and on bringing costs down.
Wickler and Dasso hope convention speakers will focus on talking to middle-class issues to prove that Democrats are the party who will look out for them.
Maintaining the progressive movement of making lives better for people in this country, no matter where you live, no matter who you are.
Because those Wisconsin voters could decide the Oval Office.
We're the tipping point state for Trump in 2016, for Biden in 2020. We might well be the tipping point state for Harris to become president of the United States in 2024.
For this opening night of festivities, the list of speakers has been a very closely guarded secret. We do know that Hillary Clinton and President Joe Biden will be delivering remarks here at the United Center. Here in downtown Chicago, I'm Ken Kozarowski for News 8 Now this morning. Alexandra, back to you.
Thank you, Ken. Before Democrats went to Chicago for one of the party's biggest events, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was in Madison campaigning for the Harris Walz campaign. Yesterday, dozens of people crammed into the EVP coffee shop. At least 50 of them were prepping to go canvass for the rest of the day.
I feel like we're not so much saving a democracy as we are building one. We're building it together. And that's what you're doing every time you knock on a door.
After hearing from Baldwin and Buttigieg, these Democrats said they were energized to go canvass. Meanwhile, taking a look at the other side of the aisle, former President Trump will be hitting several key battleground states as Democrats meet in Chicago this week. These smaller events will focus on one or two policy issues, according to the campaign, including the economy, crime, and immigration. Trump will be in Pennsylvania today and is expected to speak about the economy there. The former president is also expected to visit Michigan, Arizona, and North Carolina. And Vice Presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance is making another stop in Wisconsin tomorrow. The Trump-Vance campaign announced a crime and safety press conference in Kenosha at noon. Vance will be joined by Republican Representative Brian Steele, Wisconsin Senate candidate Eric Hovde, and Kenosha County Sheriff David Zorner. This marks Vance's third visit to our battleground state this month. This morning, the race to reach a ceasefire escalates. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel for high-stakes meetings with the country's president and its prime minister as the U.S. works to broker a deal to end the fighting and stave off a broader conflict in the region. This comes after yet another week of talks appear to have not even moved the needle. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest on the talks for us.
Back in Israel. This is my 9th visit since October 7th.
Nearly 10 months since Israel's bloody war against Hamas began in Gaza. This morning, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Tel Aviv, working to strike a deal to end the fighting.
Probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to get the hostages home, to get a ceasefire.
The U.S.'s top diplomat is meeting with Israeli President Herzog and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu one day after 2 Israeli missiles hit an apartment building in Nuseirat in central Gaza. In another airstrike nearby, a man pulled 3 lifeless girls from the back of his car. Despite intensive meetings last week, mediating nations Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. have failed to broker a deal between the Israeli government and Hamas leaders. Blinken is expected to push to close the gap on a proposal presented by President Biden back in May. Hamas is accusing Netanyahu of making new conditions to prolong the war. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, a bittersweet birthday celebration for the family of Romi Gonen, the 24-year-old believed to be among the nearly 100 people held hostage by Hamas in Gaza.
We could choose stay at home and, be alone with our pain, but we chose different.
This public display meant to make sure none of them are forgotten.
After today's meeting in Tel Aviv, Blinken heads to Egypt. Negotiators hope reaching a ceasefire can deter Iran from unleashing an attack on Israel in retaliation for killing a Hamas leader at the end of last month. Former New York Republican Congressman George Santos is expected to plead guilty today to multiple federal charges. The dozens of fraud charges are related to Santos's 2022 midterm campaign. The former congressman is accused of stealing donors' identities and charging thousands of dollars to their credit cards to purchase luxury goods and Botox. Last October, he pleaded not guilty to those charges. And also beginning today, closer to home, a block of George Street on La Crosse's north side will close. The block of George Street between Cunningham and Palace Streets will be closed for sewer replacement work. That project is expected to wrap up by Friday. The EPA has ordered Menards in Eau Claire to stop selling certain pesticide products. The company is prohibited from selling antimicrobial filters and allergen filters, which contain unregistered pesticides and are currently available online. The EPA claims Menards' website suggests these products could be used against COVID-19. Federal law requires all pesticides to undergo the EPA's registration process to ensure safety and effectiveness before distribution or sale. The products in question will not be registered until determined safe for use. Smashing the stigma around addiction and mental health was the goal of an event held this weekend at the Cooley Recovery Center in La Crosse. The Smash the Stigma gathering brought community members together to share stories, learn about resources, and challenge misconceptions surrounding substance use disorder and mental health issues.
Substance use can be described as a disease at times, and for many people it's a disease that they have no control over. So we basically want to end the negatory labeling for these individuals.
People also had the chance to listen to live music performed by people in long-term recovery. The time now is 6:09. Still ahead on your morning news, Deadpool and Wolverine squared off with its competitors at the weekend box office. Disney Parks offering a wider range of pricing for lower budgets, and more than half of all Fortune 500 companies now consider AI a risk factor. And a new survey shows 10% of parents expect to go into debt to cover the cost of back-to-school shopping. Coming up, more on back-to-school costs and how you can save money. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. A pair of Cape Porcupine brothers celebrated their first birthday at the Adelaide Zoo. As you can see in this adorable footage provided by the zoo, Winnie and Walter got to enjoy what the zoo called colorful enrichment balls and pumpkin cupcakes. The pair moved into the zoo from a safari park earlier this year. They are the first of their species to call the zoo home. For now, we're leaving you with a live look outside of the United Center in Chicago, where in just hours, Democratic delegates from around the country are expected to meet for this year's Democratic National Convention. We have a crew there, and we will keep you updated throughout the week. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news is after the break.
At By Goff & Rohde, we know reputation is important, and it can affect your case's outcome. If you want your case to be taken seriously, you need lawyers who are taken seriously. By Goff & Rohde, serious injuries need serious lawyers.
Our son Trent overcame kidney disease and beat cancer. But when he injured his leg, he took what he thought was a pain pill.
It was laced with fentanyl, and it killed him. He was 23.
We reached out to Tammy Baldwin, but all we got back was a form letter.
Obviously, she doesn't care about families like ours. Our kids are dying from fentanyl pouring across our border.
And we can't trust Tammy Baldwin to stop it.
Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The pain level was over 10. There's days where I just sat and cried and asked the good Lord to take me. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet and try the arch supports. And I took about 3-4 steps, turned around and went and sat back down and started to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know my testimony. I want them to know what arch support's can do from Good Feet.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Are your toilets in need of an upgrade? Not only can older toilets be uncomfortable, they can also clog more and increase your utility bills. At Maxwell White, we offer professionally trusted Kohler toilets. Our popular best-selling toilet is the Kohler Highline, available in various heights to provide ultimate accessibility and ease of use. Don't wait. Start enjoying the exceptional power, innovation, and water-saving sustainability of a new Kohler toilet. Trust the toilet experts at Maxwell White. Plumbing done right. Call today.
We're digging in on Highway 61 and getting ready to build a new Chrysler Winona. But we are packed with cars where the building is supposed to go, and we need to make room. During the Make This the Summer event, we have huge savings on our best models. New vehicles under $40,000 include a well-appointed Jeep Grand Cherokee or Ram 1500 Quad Cab. Save up to $10,000 on a new Ram heavy-duty truck or $11,000 off a new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. So come see us at our new location, Highway 61, Winona.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
I'm the proud son of a single mom.
My mom worked nights to provide for us.
My mom worked 80 hours a week.
But Eric Hovde thinks if you have a single mom, you're going to be poor or a drug addict?
That is a direct path to a life of poverty. It leads to higher drug rates.
That just shows Eric Hovde is ignorant.
Come on, I'm successful today because of my mom.
I learned my work ethic from my mom, my single mom.
What is wrong with this guy?
Is your personal injury lawyer trying to sell you a settlement that you don't think is fair? You need a lawyer who won't settle your case just to move on to the next one. Get the full compensation you deserve. Get By Goff & Rohde.
All right, taking you back out here, I want to show you this real quick. Going back to outside, yep, there it is. We're holding on to mostly clear skies. We're going to carry that going into for the next few hours here. Once we go into that, we'll get into possibly partly cloudy skies to finish out the afternoon. You can see the clouds gradually increasing, but we'll put some more clouds in there. You can see partly cloudy skies possibly to finish out the day. We'll go into La Crosse. You're looking at the increasing clouds, as I mentioned, with 60s and some 70s, near 80-degree possibilities today. And we're going to go into the evening, possibly with holding on to at least a 20% chance of showers going into the night and then finish out. So we got mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon, a 10% chance of showers, and then by the time we get deeper into it, we're going to see clouds increase on us. Getting into the overnight, we'll get possibly maybe a shower or two, and that's going to come in as we go around into possibly the 11 o'clock hour. So we'll see some showers possibly going from 5, 6, 7 all the way up to the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock hour, but that's out of our area. Slowly but surely it gets closer to us coming in from the east and starts to get near La Crosse. And again, that's about a 20% chance. You see today 82 degrees, getting to 79 as we go into tomorrow, holding on to more clouds. We'll pick up mild conditions carrying over all through the work week. Then by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at temperatures warming up, getting into at least upper 80s to around 91 degrees. A little humidity comes into the picture, and this is all because we could see Ernesto possibly getting a little bit closer and slowing the works up of west to east travel across the United States, and that would mean holding up some of the rainfall potential that we've been showing you already this morning. So that means the possibility of, again, extra humidity popping into the picture, and that's why we're going to warm up so much. So I'll have more about this coming up for you in just a bit, so stick around.
In your consumer news this morning, Deadpool and Wolverine squared off with their latest competitors at the weekend box office. The 15th anniversary re-release of Coraline took 5th place, and Twisters fell to 4th. It Ends With Us fell to 3rd place with $24 million, giving it $98 million domestic in 10 days. Deadpool and Wolverine lost the top spot, but made another $29 million for a massive $546 million domestic total. And Alien Romulus devoured the competition, launching with $41.5 million to take the box office crown. Many Disney superfans are complaining about the high cost of vacationing at the happiest place on Earth, and in response, Disney is offering a wider range of pricing and options. Tourists can also expect a bigger bang for their buck, with many new parades and shows added to the existing attractions. Disney has touted lower price ticket options and value season deals at its resort hotels to allow families to visit even if they're on a tight budget. This week, Disney also announced plans for an avalanche of new attractions and lands at its parks. More than half of all Fortune 500 companies now consider AI a risk factor. That's according to a Forbes report that looks at a Rise AI survey. It shows about 56% of the businesses flag the technology as a concern. That's up more than 400% from the previous year. About 50 million K-12 students are heading back to the classroom, and parents across the country are, of course, buying school supplies. A new survey shows 10% of parents expect to go into debt to pay for those items. Nancy Chen has tips to stretch your dollars.
For parents, back to school means back to spending. Since 2016, average household spending on back to school has increased 30%, with families expected to shell out more than $870 in 2024.
What are parents facing this year?
Parents everywhere are certainly excited for their kids to go back to school, but the cost of all of those things you need to buy for your kids really adds up.
Sarah Rathner is a personal finance expert with NerdWallet.
When you're already stretched thin, you're going to have to make some hard decisions.
But there are also easy ways to save. Check out so-called Buy Nothing groups on Facebook, Nextdoor, and the Buy Nothing app.
Those are groups on social media. You can request if anybody has an item your child needs that they don't need anymore.
So you're saying it's completely free?
It is, yes. People are giving of their own abundance.
And if you can't find what you're looking for free, there are online platforms to buy items used, like Swappa, OfferUp, and Facebook Marketplace. Don't forget to shop around. Target, Walmart, Staples, and Amazon are all offering 50-cent deals on different basics like notebooks, crayons, pencils, and glue. Staples will also give you $10 off a purchase of $30 or more if you trade in older items like binders or backpacks as part of their recycling program.
For kids' uniforms, polos are $7 or less, and skirts $12 or less at Target, Old Navy, and the Children's Place. Check out JCPenney, Walmart, and Amazon for shoes under $20. With a little homework, you can get an A+ in economics this back-to-school shopping season.
There are several organizations that families can turn to for help. ICNA Relief and the Salvation Army are two national groups that assist low-income families with back to school. Many local churches and libraries also operate drives. That's it for your morning consumer news. The time now is 6:19. Let's check in with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett for a look at our Monday forecast.
All right, and away we go, starting out with the AM patchy fog. Could be dense in some locations. However, it is improving somewhat. Seasonal cooler temperatures as well as we go into today. You're looking at numbers up to about 82 degrees and below that. We'll hold on some fog and low cloud activities. You can see Ladysmith and Eau Claire haven't changed much, but you're looking at all the other locations like Black River Falls. You've been picking up now 3 miles of visibility. You had dense fog earlier. You're also looking at areas right by Volk Field, possibly into dense fog right now at 0 miles of visibility. Also, Boscobel has done the same thing, holding on to some fog and low cloud activity. So you see it right here, but a lot of it's going to start to track over to the west, closer to the Mississippi and beyond. Eventually, as we go through, you see it starting to build up as we go through from the 5 o'clock hour into the 6 o'clock hour, 7 o'clock hour. Everything starts to move a little bit more to the west, and that clears us out somewhat, except for our river valleys here in La Crosse. And eventually, by the 9 o'clock hour, we've lost the fog and low cloud activity. We have a little bit of wind out there right now. It's up to at least 6, possibly getting up to about 10. And as we finish out the day, we'll probably see close to 14 miles per hour of wind. You'll also go into the 3 o'clock hour. As I told you, this rainfall is out of the area, but it gets closer to us by Ladysmith as we go into the 7 o'clock hour, and maybe hits Eau Claire as well. Then begins to dip down by the 11 o'clock hour. We have that 20% chance of rainfall that I mentioned going into the evening and overnight. That's going to hit us possibly with a little sprinkle, maybe a shower or two, and then up and out it goes. Now, as we get through the next few days, this month is going by so fast, but Labor Day comes up. It's 13 days away from us. Then the autumnal equinox, as we change the seasons, comes in about 34 days. We're looking at Halloween popping in, one of my favorite fun days of holiday. Looking at 73 degrees here, and then by Thanksgiving, 101 days until Thanksgiving for you. So you can start to exercise before that and get ready to get that stomach a little bit wider so you get more food in it, right? As we go into it, you're looking at the possibility of a little bit of light rainfall out to our southwest, but for now, we're all dry here. Current temperatures in the 50s widespread. We'll also pick up the possibility of the dew points getting into the 50s, maybe getting into the 60s later on. So that's the juiciness that we're picking up, and the possibility of rainfall could be greater. Rain amounts today, you see mostly over there by Mansfield, getting areas of Wisconsin Rapids, all the way down to Volk Field. And then we switch over to another model and showing you here most of the rainfall possibly is more over to the east as it comes in. So right now we're holding on to at least mostly clear skies, as I mentioned to you. We'll go through La Crosse at 8 a.m. with a whole bunch of sunshine, getting your day started with that continuing on right into the noon hour. We'll also see for Eau Claire doing the same thing. 58 degrees though, getting up to about 75. High temperatures for the day from 79 to 82 degrees. You see La Crosse is the high, 81 for Boscobel. Once we go into the evening though, these moons you see are going to be a blue moon, which is the second full moon in our month, and so that's how it all plays out. 75 to at least 67 degrees to finish out, going into better weather going for the next few days. Seasonal, then below, as we finish out going into warmer temperatures going into the weekend and beyond. Back to you.
All right, Art, thank you. Still ahead on your morning news, the FDA is approving a first-of-its-kind gel treatment aimed at stopping severe bleeding. Coming up in your morning medical news, we'll look at how this new gel may not only save lives, but also transform how we look at trauma care.
Coming up in sports, action from the Packers preseason game, plus the Brewers were going for a sweep over one of the better teams in the American League. That and more coming up in the Morning Blitz.
And as we head to break, leaving you now with a live look at the United Center in Chicago. This is where just in a few hours, Democratic delegates from across the country will meet for the 2024 Democratic National Convention. Not much going on now, but of course that will all change, and we have a crew there. We'll keep you updated throughout the week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Life has become too expensive. Groceries and gas have gotten out of control, and red tape is killing the economy. But fortunately, our Congressman Derek Van Orden is fighting for solutions to make living more affordable for us in Wisconsin. He's advocating for common sense bills that would make everyday items like gas and groceries more affordable.
Now, Congress has an opportunity to lower costs by cutting red tape. Tell Congressman Van Orden to keep working to lower costs and support the Red Tape Reduction Act.
The Make It Ford summer sales event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford summer sales event, so make it yours. Make it now. Get up to $7,400 in total savings on a new 2024 Ford F-150, only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
Kyle just made a decision that would change his whole world.
Hey, you're sober? You drive.
Kyle just made a decision that would change his whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
At Taco John's, we've got beef with other places that start with frozen beef. That's why we start with only 100% American never frozen beef, simmered in our signature spice blend. Say no to thaw and yes to 100% American beef at Taco John's.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
That takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Call Hupy and Abraham. They really do mean business.
Green Bay Packers were playing football last night, but 31 Packer players weren't dressed for last night's preseason action in Denver. Most of those players were the starters, including Jordan Love, who saw just 3 snaps in last week's preseason game. For the most part, the team knows who's going to be on the field come September 6th, and the rest of preseason is just about filling out the rest of the depth chart. Let's jump into some action. Slow start for the Packers, down 10. Sean Clifford in at quarterback, and on 3rd and 10, Clifford scrambles, is going to pick up the first down, keeps the drive alive. But then a few plays later, under 2 to play, 1st and 10, and Clifford is going to be picked off. That's Keydron Smith, and he's got room to run inside the 40, gets a few blockers, finally tackled at the 15-yard line. It was really a tough first half for the Packers offense and for Clifford. Then the Broncos, they had a shot to score before half inside the 10, and Jarrett Stidham is going to scramble, fights his way into the end zone. Denver goes up 17 at the half as the Packers fall in preseason 27-2. Green Bay will go again next Saturday in Lambeau against the Ravens. Let's go to AmFam Field. Brewers were going for a sweep over the Cleveland Guardians. Maybe the greatest Brewer of all time, Hall of Famer Robin Yount, in attendance for the 50th year anniversary of his rookie season. Not the best first pitch. We'll cut him some slack for that one. All right, let's get to the action. First inning, man on 3rd for Willy Adames, and he stays hot. Line drive into center field. Milwaukee takes an early lead, and that's all they would need. Colin Ray would go 7 innings, just 2 hits, and then Jared Koenig in to close it out. Pop fly out to left field. Jackson Chourio makes the catch. Ball game 2-0 the final. The Guardians enter the series with the best win percentage in baseball, and Milwaukee sweeps them. And you know who was loving that? The Minnesota Twins. If they get a win, they would be just 1 game back from the division lead. First inning, man on 3rd for Minnesota's Trevor Larnach. He gets one down the first base line. A run scores. Minnesota takes the lead. Still in the first, Ryan Jeffers now at the plate. He gives this pitch a ride deep to center, and it's gone. A 2-run shot. Minnesota goes up 3. But the Rangers would fight back. Now down 2, and Garcia gets all of this pitch. Defense giving chase, but that ball is gone. A 2-run shot. We're tied at 4. This one would actually go into extra innings. And then in the 10th, Josh Young, grounder to 3rd. The throw a bit off, and Santana loses the ball. Garcia rounds third. He comes in to score, and the Rangers walk it off. 6-5 the final. Twins still 2 games back from the top of the AL Central. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Look, here's a phone company who wants us to use our phones less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
It's a free ride. But I already paid.
Sanctuary cities protect illegal immigrant criminals from being deported, like an illegal immigrant arrested for battery in Madison. Instead of being deported, he was released and went on to assault several more women, including a 13-year-old girl. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted 9 times to support federal funding for sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegals back onto our streets. And Baldwin voted for amnesty for 11 million illegals, including criminals. Tell Senator Baldwin, stop protecting illegal immigrants and start protecting Wisconsin.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
The feeling is mutual. Everything's made fresh.
Everything. Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culver's for any other restaurant. Culver's. Yay! We love our guests.
Love. As much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
from Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
Hello. It was 1990 when I first looked out of the TV and told you about high quality at lower prices. Hi, I'm Miles Wilkins, owner of the Board Store. Some things have changed. Products have gotten so much better. We've gone from 3 to almost 80 employees, and I'm just a little bit older. Some things haven't changed. We still offer high quality at lower prices. Call today for a prompt free estimate on your next home improvement from the Board Store.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Or get $3,500 purchase cash on select GMC Sierra models. Or get a total of $6,000 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Visit your Best Choice GMC dealer today.
What would you think of a man who builds homes to rescue children from abandonment, sex trafficking, and slavery?
An employer who does charitable work alongside us and pays for us to go around the world helping kids in need.
He helps single moms in Wisconsin.
Funds food banks here.
And fights sex trafficking across America.
That man is my husband, Eric, and he'll fight for you, just like he fights for them.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Our phones were made to help us connect, and somehow they've made us less connected.
Which is ironic, don't you think?
Oh, I love this song so much.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
Welcome back. In your morning medical news, the FDA cleared the way for a new gel designed to stop severe bleeding in just seconds. It's called Trauma Gel, and it's actually derived from algae. CBS's Bradley Blackburn introduces us to the inventor, who expects his technology could transform trauma care.
And this line is sized to produce about 250,000 syringes on a monthly basis.
What's happening here at this biomanufacturing facility in Brooklyn could be a matter of life and death. Inside these syringes, a new potentially life-saving gel that can stop severe bleeding in seconds, called Trauma Gel.
One syringe will be enough to treat just about the largest bleed that you can imagine. Gunshot wounds, stabbings, motor vehicle accidents.
Cressilon CEO and co-founder Joe Landolina launched the company out of his NYU dorm room in 2010, when the young scientist stumbled upon a gel that stuck to his skin.
I had this idea that what if you took that gel and put it into a bleeding bullet wound to get a patient from point A to point B without them bleeding out.
The gel is made from algae and has the consistency of hummus. Once it comes into contact with a wound, it forms a mechanical barrier against bleeding, and no manual pressure is required. Blood loss in traumatic wounds is responsible for more than 35% of all pre-hospital deaths.
A product like this that's able to stop bleeding quickly and effectively can save countless lives.
Trauma Gel is the company's second FDA clearance. It already has a hemostatic gel to treat minor cuts and scrapes and a veterinary gel for pets.
This product for animals is being used a lot already, and people may not even be aware of it.
Exactly.
Federal go-ahead for this new product is based on preclinical data. Landa Linna expects to roll out Trauma Gel to hospitals and EMS teams later this year and hopefully start saving lives.
I needed some of that gel this weekend, cut myself again. The company expects the product to be used on the battlefield and is also working with the Department of Defense to determine if it could help with traumatic brain injuries. It is a tradition that is cherished by many in our community. Holman's 60th annual Corn Fest kicked off this weekend, offering a wide range of activities for families and kids. The food was the main attraction over the 3-day festival, featuring everything from sweet corn to chicken. But that wasn't all. Sunday started with the St. Elizabeth breakfast, followed by the Phil Wall Classic Horseshoe Tournament and some bingo. Each year, the community continues to show its strong support.
It's fantastic that for 60 years the community has supported us. Obviously, our sponsors, we can always use more sponsors. But it's great to see the crowd we had Friday and the crowd Saturday night. The people around Holman to come out and support us is absolutely fantastic.
And the festivities wrapped up last night. If you pass by the fest grounds this weekend, you may have noticed a motorcycle extravaganza of sorts. The first Big River Rally kicked off Friday, which provides a weekend of fun for motorcycle enthusiasts. Attendees had the chance to enjoy the beautiful scenery of the Coulee region with a 50-mile loop along the Mississippi River. Saturday, bikers departed for an over 100-mile ride with stops to enjoy local food, beverages, and views.
Bringing this to La Crosse, into this area, was our hope, right? People coming from all over to get to know our area and hopefully return, right? Because they're like, wow, that was really beautiful and it was a really great place to visit. That was kind of the inspiration for this.
Officials hope this can become an annual event in La Crosse. And log rolling made a splash in Holman this weekend as the community celebrated its 7th annual Summer Splash event. The unique water sport has drawn participants ranging from beginners to seasoned pros for a tournament that kicked off on Friday.
For me, makes me so happy because I get to share my love and passion for the sport with the La Crosse and Holman area community. So it's just a really cool thing to see.
The event has grown bigger every year. When it started, there were only 16 competitors. This year, there were 80. And dice rolled and imagination soared as the 10th annual CooleyCon transformed La Crosse into a tabletop gamer's paradise over the weekend. The convention drew enthusiasts and curious newcomers alike, all eager to embark on adventures that exist beyond the boundaries of ordinary board games.
It's a great opportunity to just introduce yourself and your children to the hobby. If you just want to see what does it look like, what do these games look like.
This year's convention offers a variety of activities like a 40-player mega game, a miniature painting contest, and even a cosplay competition. The time now is 6:36. Let's check in with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett to tell us what to expect for our morning commute.
All right, well, yesterday was a gorgeous day. Let's tack that on for today as well. First, starting out with a little bit of fog and low cloud activity. We're holding on to patchy to near dense fog in some locations. Folkfield has gotten much better. You have Boscobel getting much better as far as visibility is concerned. You'll also see that La Crosse is still at 10 miles, but they'll get possibly down to about 7 miles visibility to finish out the day. Starting out from 5 o'clock, going all the way to 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, you're looking at some fog extending and moving eastward or westward out of the way. Once that happens, by the time we get into the 9 o'clock hour, fog is gone, and we hold on to a good looking start to the day from mostly sunny skies to then becoming partly cloudy as we get deeper into the evening hours with a 20% chance of a shower or two coming into the forecast. Labor Day is about 13 days away. The autumnal equinox is 34 days away. Halloween is 73 days away. Thanksgiving 101 days away as well. Temperatures right now for us, 50s widespread. We are holding on to the possibility of getting into at least dew points in the 50s, possibly getting the 60s to finish the day. And once we hold on to more showers, we'll see that possibly coming in later on out of the northeast, working its way to Eau Claire and Ladysmith, and then right back into our area right as we go into the 11 o'clock hour to finish out your day. All right, back to you.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Ed is turning 80, I was going to say 80 degrees. He's turning 80 today. He's spending time with his children, his grandchildren, and his great-grandchildren.
Happy birthday to you, Ed. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, that's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Coming up, is your back-to-school checklist complete? Why a doctor's visit might be as crucial as those new school supplies. Stay tuned for Mindful Monday.
Chart your career with a welding position at Chart Industries. Do you have a year or more of welding experience? Starting wages up to $35 per hour. We have the job for you. Apply today at jobs.chartindustries.com.
If you're in a nursing home, you only have 5-6 month life expectancy. Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
Listen, Eric Hovde, Mr. Fancy California banker, I earned my retirement, but you said you would absolutely cut Social Security and even raise the retirement age. Now you want to take away our right to vote? Eric Hovde, you're one heck of a jerk. Will never have my vote. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
For over 5 decades, Jim's Truck and Trailer in Winona has been your solution for everything transportation related. In 1971, my dad Jim recognized truckers and families needed a reliable partner who will have their vehicle road ready. Still family owned and operated, our mission has never wavered. Whether your ride is a truck and trailer, auto transportator, charter bus, or RV, Jim's Truck and Trailer's fleet of ASC certified technicians can handle any issue or upgrade. Jim's Truck and Trailer Coachworks. Repair, refinish, remarkable.
Turn your collector car into cash. Remlinger Collector Car Auctions is now taking consignments for its fall auction on September 27th and 28th in Winona, Minnesota. Visit RemlingerAuctions.com to consign now and maximize your earnings. Early consigners receive the most exposure to our eager pre-qualified bidders. Reserve your spot today and join the excitement. Remlinger Collector Car Auctions, where every car has a story and every bid is an adventure.
Welcome to Washington, D.C. You got a bunch of loudmouth, preening politicians. It's absolute chaos. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after 26 years as a Navy SEAL, there's a few things that I learned. You stay on mission, you know what you're fighting for, and sometimes you gotta get a little dirty to finish the job. Let's go, kids. Not you. Not you. You. Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Chart your career with a welding position at Chart Industries. Do you have a year or more of welding experience? Starting wages up to $35 per hour. We have the job for you. Apply today at jobs.chartindustries.com.
Well, good morning to you. A nice day is ahead of us. Looking at mostly clear skies right about now. Holding on to more sunshine as we go through the day. However, we still have a little bit of fog to contend with this early morning. By the time we get into the mid-morning hours, we should see that all get out of our way, tracking more so to the west. Here we have some patchy to dense fog in some locations here. And some of these areas is Strand all the way down from Ladysmith all the way to Eau Claire, then back down to Black River Falls, extending into Vogue Field. We had some dense fog in there for a while, so the remnants of that still holding on here locally. La Crosse is showing 10 miles visibility, but we could possibly see 7 miles of visibility as we go deeper into the next hour. That being said, take a look as this finishes out here. We'll go from 5 to 6, then by 7, we're going to see this get out of the way, and then eventually La Crosse may get a little bit better as far as visibility is concerned. We're also holding on to a nice day today. We'll also look at some light rain chances. That's a 10% chance for the afternoon and a 20% chance going into the evening and then to the overnight. tonight. Sunny to mostly cloudy skies as we go deeper into the week. Also, we're going to see a mild warm-up coming along in our way. We'll go mild for the work week and becoming warmer as we get to the weekend. Take a look at this right down into areas from Preston all the way to Mason City. A little bit of rainfall, maybe a short storm kind of getting out of the way here. For right now, we're okay as far as rain is concerned. We get into current temperatures and you're looking at widespread 50s. We'll also take a look here as we go through the day. You're looking at least by the close of the morning hours, we're looking at 60s, some 70s widespread. More clouds starting to trickle down from the north, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Why? Because moisture is going to start to sneak in out of the area there, and that's going to be a 10% chance in the afternoon, as I mentioned, going to a 20% chance into the evening hours. That being said, here comes some of that moisture, and it's trying to get a little bit closer to us. Some of it's getting a little bit closer, but it's falling apart as it gets closer to areas by Wisconsin Dells. You're also seeing some 60s and some 70s possibly as we finish out the day, with maybe a little spritzel coming in from a sprinkle to at least a shower. We'll see the same for Eau Claire with some sunshine getting into a few mostly sunny skies, and then eventually possibly partly cloudy skies to finish out the day. Most of that starting from our west, our east, I should say, and then working its way inward with some of that cloud cover. We'll take a quick peek here. Some of that rainfall you see showing up, as I mentioned, from Wausau getting into Wisconsin Rapids and then getting closer to Sparta and Vogt Field. And then, as I showed you before, some of that rainfall getting closer as we get deeper into the evening and possibly passing over us as we get into the 10 o'clock hour with some increasing skies to partly cloudy. 82 to 79 degrees we go today, and tomorrow 78 for Wednesday. Not much change there. Then a 20% chance of showers as we go into Thursday, and there could be a storm or two kind of rumbling by us as well. We'll also see finishing out Friday, we get into temperatures around 82 with warmer conditions going into your weekend and beyond. Back to you.
As we approach the back-to-school season, it's also National Immunization Month. To help us understand the importance of vaccinations and what parents need to know, we're joined on this Mindful Monday by Mayo Clinic Health System resident physician, Dr. Rachel Leonard. Thank you for being here. Good morning.
Good morning.
So just tell us a little bit, why is National Immunization Month so important, especially as we are getting ready to send the kids back to school?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for one thing, you know, when your kids go back to school, there's a lot you can't protect them from, right?
Yeah.
Scraped knees, bumping noggins, but you can give them vaccines, and that helps prevent from a lot of viral illness that can be, you know, make them very sick and can even be life-threatening.
Yes, we know kids are always picking something up at school, so the more protection, the better.
Right. What are some of the key immunizations that parents are going to be needing for their children this year?
So a lot of that depends on age, and the CDC actually has a really good website that kind of depicts these vaccines for parents if they want to review on their own too. But you know, for younger kids, you definitely want to be having the MMR for like measles, mumps, things like the polio vaccine. Also, are like viral illnesses, RSV, flu, COVID, also important.
Okay, all the basics there.
All the basics plus COVID, right?
Yeah, any changes or new vaccinations that are being recommended this year?
Not really. There haven't been many changes, but we just still continue to recommend flu and COVID vaccine. And then there's been a little bit of an uprise for the RSV vaccine, but there's still some things that we're working out with that.
What about adults? Do they need immunizations going back to work?
I don't think they need additional, but we kind of recommend some of those same vaccines for them as well. So for adults, RSV is actually a new possibility, kind of depending on your age and other health conditions. But flu and COVID are very essential too, right? Because we're going to be in enclosed spaces once again, as we already have been, and that's a good opportunity to spread viral illness.
Right.
And we are seeing an uptick of COVID right now, right?
Absolutely.
So good idea. I know sometimes we report you should try to get that COVID and flu vaccine by October. Is that something that you recommend too?
Yeah, so we generally kind of time it on when the peak viral season is going to be here. So for our recommendations, I think too, classically the vaccine, you kind of have peak effectiveness over the 6-month window, so you try and capture the time when one is most likely to get the illness.
And long COVID's associated with that as well?
So yes, you certainly can. Unfortunately, we don't have a clear understanding as for why some people get long COVID, but the better you protect yourself and don't get COVID in the first place would be a great step.
Yeah, for sure. And so we've seen, you know, a lot of anti-vaccine rhetoric kind of coming up lately, leading to some parents, you know, being hesitant or maybe choosing to not get their kids vaccinated. What is your message to parents who are hesitant?
Yeah, I think it opens the door for a conversation with your doctor, right? My only prerogative as a physician is the well-being of your children and the well-being of you. As a family doctor, right, I see see people of all ages. And so I think all care is shared decision making. And so what we want to do is just have that conversation, because we can offer information that may not be available to them.
Okay, so if parents are hesitant, just talk to your doctor would be the first step.
Talk to your doctor. All we want to do is help.
Great, good to know. Okay, anything else parents should know, about the virus season or heading back to school, vaccines, any other message you want to share?
Yeah, in addition to getting your vaccines, hand washing is extremely important. It's often overlooked, but it can go a long way in helping prevent some of this illness too. And then, yeah, just know that these are very safe, effective, and well-tested things. So there really is no harm. There can only be good benefit.
Okay, great. And then speaking of hand washing, I know hand sanitizer is so easy, especially if you've got little kids. I know sometimes it's easy to reach for that, but I have read that there are some illnesses that hand sanitizer doesn't kill, right? So you want to make sure you're getting the real hand washing in there too, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're going to use hand sanitizer, it's probably better than nothing.
Better than nothing, right.
But if you can kind of implement some hand washing in between, I think that would go a long way too, just for those 0.1% of bugs that aren't going to get
killed.
I used to do both at the same time.
Those are the bugs that always seem to sneak their way into my son's daycare.
Absolutely, as it goes.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning with us, Dr. Rachel Leonard.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right, stay with us. We're back right after this.
Sanctuary cities protect illegal immigrant criminals from being deported, like an illegal immigrant arrested for battery in Madison. Instead of being deported, he was released and went on to assault several more women, including a 13-year-old girl. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted 9 times to support federal funding for sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegals back onto our streets. And Baldwin voted for amnesty for 11 million illegals, including criminals. Tell Senator Baldwin, stop protecting illegal immigrants and start protecting Wisconsin.
Your home, a place of comfort and safety, could be trying to tell you something. Interior cracks, sloping floors, hard to open doors and windows are all signals of foundation failure that you can't ignore. At American Waterworks, we use modern techniques and warranted solutions to restore your peace of mind in your home. After all, your home's foundation issues won't get better with time, but it will with our proven solutions. Choose confidence, choose reliability, choose American Waterworks.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
There's a side of Eric Hovde you might not know. In his 20s, he was diagnosed with MS, and in that moment, his life and priorities changed. Eric started Hovde Homes. Hovde Homes rescue abandoned children from sex trafficking and slavery. For children who never experienced real love, Hovde Homes offer the love, care, and support they need to heal. MS changed Eric's life, and thousands of children are alive today because of it.
50 years ago, I prayed this prayer, and it changed my life, and it can change your life. You see, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and my life was in a mess. And I just got on my knees one night, and I said, God, I've sinned against you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. And I said, I believe Jesus Christ is your Son, and I believe that he took my sins to the cross, and he died and shed his blood for my sins, and that he was buried, and that you raised him to life. And I'd like to invite him to come into my heart right now. And I prayed that prayer, and God heard my prayer, and he forgave me, and he'll forgive you, and he'll cleanse you and change your life starting today. Just pray this prayer as I say, God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe Jesus is your Son. I want to trust him as my Savior and follow him as my Lord from this day forward. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, I want you to call right now that number that's on the screen. Call that number, and may God bless you. We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
It takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Welcome back. It's 6:52. Time for your morning news now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken back in the Middle East today amid high-stakes ceasefire negotiations. He landed in Tel Aviv to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. Tomorrow, he'll go to Egypt. Netanyahu's office has expressed cautious optimism that a ceasefire deal can be reached. Hamas has accused Israel of stalling efforts to reach a deal in order to prolong the war. The Democratic National Convention kicks off today in Chicago. The four-day event will feature speeches from former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will speak too, as well as, of course, the party's nominees. Current Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. President Joe Biden will headline tonight with the theme For the People. VP nominee J.D. Vance is making another campaign stop in Wisconsin tomorrow. The Trump-Vance campaign announced a crime and safety press conference in Kenosha at noon. This marks Vance's third visit to the battleground state this month. Former GOP Congressman George Santos intends to enter a guilty plea today in federal court in a case accusing him of fraud, identity theft, and misusing campaign funds. Santos had initially pleaded not guilty after his indictment last year. Months later, he was ousted from Congress. And beginning today, a block of George Street on La Crosse's north side will close for a full week. It's between Cunningham and Palace Streets. That'll close for sewer replacement work. The project is expected to be completed by Friday. Smashing the stigma around addiction and mental health was the goal of the weekend event at the Cooley Recovery Center. The Smash the Stigma gathering brought community members together to share stories and learn about resources and challenge misconceptions surrounding substance abuse and mental health issues.
Substance use can be described as a disease at times, and for many people it's a disease that they have no control over. So we basically want to end the negatory labeling for these individuals.
People also had the chance to listen to live music performed by people in long-term recovery. Brookwood High School unveiled its new track and football field, as well as a PE facility with a ribbon cutting. These new facilities mark the first phase of a $24.9 million referendum project, $5 million of which came from grants. The second phase will include the expansion of different areas like technical ed, the Trades Learning Center, and the gym. Pullman's 60th annual Corn Fest was this weekend. The food was the main attraction over the three-day festival, featuring everything from sweet corn to chicken. Sunday started with the St. Elizabeth Breakfast, followed by the Phil Wall Classic Horseshoe Tournament, and even bingo.
It's fantastic that for 60 years the community has supported us. Obviously, our sponsors, we could always use more sponsors, but it's great to see the crowd we had Friday and the crowd Saturday night. The people around home wanting to come out and support us is absolutely fantastic.
The festivities wrapped up last night.
All right, away we go with local temperatures possibly getting into the 70s and the low 80s today. Then we'll go into some increasing clouds to at least mostly cloudy to mostly clear skies. We'll see some rainfall potentially as we go into the 11 o'clock hour here locally for La Crosse. Take a look at the next few days. Sunny skies expected with a 20% chance of rain for Thursday. We go into Thursday all the way into Friday, and then the weekend we're looking at warmer conditions edging closer to us with the possibility of temperatures getting into the lower 90s. That being said, take a look at what I've got going on for you as we go right into how this all plays out. We're going to see that near mild conditions to finish out the work week with warmer conditions coming into your weekend and beyond.
All right, a new rubber chicken throwing winner has been crowned at the Iowa State Fair. Throughout last week's fair, participants took turns to see who could fling the 7-pound featherless fowl the farthest. The ladies' rubber chicken throwing champion wowed the crowd with a 57-foot toss. And if you're wondering why they're throwing chickens, the Iowa State Fair said it used to be a rolling pin throwing contest. That's until one contestant's rolling pin fling went crashing through the windshield of a police car. So they turned to rubber chickens, as one does.
Oh, okay. Was it your possible like fluffy chicken?
I wish, but I wouldn't want to throw one of those. You know,
Okay.
I just want to pet those fluffy chickens.
Gotcha.
Thank you for starting your morning with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your Monday. Try to enjoy your Monday, right?
Right.
See you back here at noon.